Hi Rasmus users. Today we are going to be talking about your organization's program library, how to set it up, and also how to use it as a tool to work smarter and not harder when you are setting up all of your programming for your clients in Hi Rasmus. So to access the program library, it's going to be under this line right here. This line marks off the difference between client or user specific pages and organization specific pages. So if we could click this library tab, then this means that we are in our library for our entire organization. We can control who has access to this library. In the user privileges, you can turn it on for individual role types. So there are certain roles that you can give access to the library. You can allow people to add programs or remove programs or do whatever they want in here, or completely restrict that as well. So let's first talk about how you would add a program from scratch to the library. In a different training video, we'll go over all of the nuances around actually creating programs, but let's go ahead and we'll show you how to add a program. Now, first thing I want to point out is this template section. Any programs, the way that you get programs to show up in the template section is by just creating programs that belong in this templates folder. You can see here I have some folders set up in my library. By default, most programs will not be added to a folder, but then you can move them accordingly. But this templates folder is a folder that you'll have when you set up your account, and any programs that you add to this folder will be called a template. Now, the one thing just to keep in mind is that essentially all of your library programs act as a template in their own way. But the nice thing about a template program is you can add this template as many times as you want from the library to a particular learner. If we're adding an actual library program, for example, if we try to add this manding program over to Linus, for example, and he already has that program, it'll give you that error message that you can't overwrite it. But the templates you can add as many times as needed. So let's go ahead and we will go through a few more options here. So we've got client programs, and there's a few different options of the types of programs. Again, those will be reviewed in a different video. You can set up many different types of ABC programs in your library, but each client just gets one. Next, we do have the option to create staff programs as well. There's only a few different types of staff programs, and those can be used with our premium staff profiles. To create a new folder, and you can have as many folders as you want, then you just select select new folder, and you add the name, and that will create a new folder for you. I also have a search function right here where I can search through my library and pull up the programs that match my search. Or I can click into my various folders and find my programs that way. Now, there's a couple of nice features here around our programs. If we look at a particular program and hit this button right here, then we can copy this program to a client. So if I hit that and hit save, that's going to copy that program over to Sally Brown, that single individual program. We can also select the three dots right here, preview the program, edit it, duplicate it, which is really nice. You can duplicate that program, rename it, make a few modifications if it's just slightly different, or move it to a folder, delete it, or lock it so that nobody else can edit it. That would be anybody who's not a manager level user would not be able to then edit that program. We can also mass select programs. So if I want to choose a few different programs, I can come down here, copy these all to a client, move them to a folder, also add tags in bulk. So if I want to, add a certain tag to all of these programs, then I can do that. All of these attributes will go over to the program in the client's profile as well once I copy it over to them, but I can also lock and delete programs from here as well. All right, so let's talk about a couple of other features of our library. Other thing here is that we can import programs from other platforms. You do have to have a specifically formatted file, and we cannot always guarantee that the format of your programs is going to show up correctly. or that your file format will play nicely with our system. You might get an error message. We do our best to stay up to date on the different file types coming from other systems, but this is how you would go ahead and import programs into your library. But we also have a really lovely catalog. So if you click catalog, you can see all of our different program options, and we have it sorted by different client program options that you can add directly to the client. Our starter pack of programs that you can add to the library. We have some parent training programs, staff programs, and also, of course, our RBT staff member courses as well. So going back to the library, let's once again just kind of walk over copying something to a client. One of the nice things about our library programs here is we can build them out completely. And we can also use the term learner within our instructions and throughout the program. And then when we copy it over to our client, when we go to run that program with our client, it's actually going to show their name. It's not going to use the term learner. Anything that you set up here on the program, all the targets, their statuses, all of the data recording settings, these will all carry over to that client. So if we pop over to Sally's programs now, we can see we added, this body parts program, and everything that we copied over, that is holding from what was set up in the library. The other thing we can do is that we can create programs on a client's profile. We can call this test program 1. Learner will add a treatment area, put in a target, add a prompt level template, hit save. And from the actual client program library, we can also copy a program to the organization's library. So I can hit copy to library and specify what program I want that, or what folder I want that program to go into. So that's why I always recommend in our instructions, in any of these fields here, we use the term learner so that it's de-identified. But then when we go to run a program on, for example, Sally's homepage, we can see it says Sally instead of learner. So those are the basics of how to use our program library. There's a lot of great features and functionality there. We hope you enjoy setting up your library.